Welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to do another quick video on how to edit your Instagram lash photos using Facetune. So this one is going to be a bit more of a natural look. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the retouch and select the cleanse and matte tools, my go-to tools for every picture. Those are the first things I do. So the cleanse and matte tool is going to help to remove like visible pores, shininess from the skin, little discolorations and anything like that. It's going to give you a nice clean canvas to start working on. So the next step from that is going to be to go to the details tool. I wanted to zoom in and really pick up these little fine delicate lashes because I did a really light set on her using 0.03s. Since it's such a natural set with such a thin lash, sometimes they don't get completely in focus when you are taking the photo. So I just wanted to adjust that a little bit. You can use the slider bar at the bottom to adjust the intensity. I didn't want it to be so intense or it's going to look like really edited and sharpened and fake. The next step is going to be go to the patch tool, and we're going to use the patch tool on a couple of the little discoloration spots on the client's skin. Basically what that is doing is just selecting the area that you want to cover up and then replacing that with another part of the image. And so see, very quickly, easily gets rid of those. And then the next step from here, once you're happy with that, is going to be to go to we want to edit the temperature of this photo a little bit because it is a little on the cool side and she just looks a little bit washed out. So I'm just going to bump up the temperature about like 15% on this photo. Not very much, but just enough to kind of adjust the problem in the lighting, which is that the photo is looking very blue. So after we adjust that, the next thing we're going to do is go back to the retouch. We're going to cleanse and matte the skin again, just to make sure that everything is really, really detailed. Because I'm not going to do a very heavy edit on this one, I like to use the cleanse and matte tools a lot just to make sure we get a nice finish to the picture without it looking overly edited. So once you're happy with that, you can go on to the paint tool. What we're going to do with the paint tool is kind of use it as, I like to use it as like a concealer or a foundation. So using the picker, you're going to select a tone on the skin and then start painting over the skin with that. Now, it's really important that you don't leave the intensity up all the way or it's going to look really funky. You want to use the slider bar at the bottom of the screen to drag it down to probably less than 50%, probably close to 30%. It's going to look good and give it a nice natural look. And see, we have definitely fixed the shadow that was on the side of her eye, and the shadow is just from the lighting in this picture. So the next thing I want to do here also is work on her brows because she did come in with no makeup. Her brows are very light and very washed out in the photo. So I just want to take the picker tool, select the darkest shade in her brows, and then go in with the tone and kind of fill in the brows with it. Just doesn't have to be perfect right now because we're going to go back in with the eraser and make them look really structured and perfect. So go in with the erase tool now and start cleaning up the brow shape. Make sure it looks really nice. If you mess up, you can go back in and add a little bit more and then erase it again. Also, another important thing with this is that we're not going to leave the intensity all the way up at 100% because it looks super fake and like you just painted eyebrows on. So we're going to use the slider to lower the intensity a lot because her brows are pretty light. I don't want them to be too intense. Go ahead and add a little bit on the other brow too. Don't forget about that one over there. Even though it's out of focus in the picture, we still just want to make sure that it's symmetrical. And we're just double checking everything to make sure it looks good. And at this point, the only thing bothering me in this photo is the background, just because it looks very blue. I don't like it. So I'm gonna go back to the retouch and select the whiten tool. kind of go over the background, make my walls white, because the walls in my studio are white. They are not light blue as they appear in this photo. But like I said before, that's just because the white balance of the photo was a little bit off. It was a little too cool toned. So we're just gonna kind of desaturate that so it looks a little bit nicer. This is a completely optional step, but this is just something that I notice. I'm a little OCD when it comes to editing my photos, but I get a ton of DMs all the time with people asking me how do I get such a cohesive, consistent look to my photos, and this is what I do. I make sure that the backgrounds, every little detail is always perfect. So that's pretty much it for this photo. I didn't want to go too overboard with it because the client has amazing, beautiful skin. So she really doesn't need that much editing. I just wanted to make it look a little bit more photo ready, Instagram ready, and I'll go ahead and upload this one to my Instagram just like this. It doesn't need anything else. And this is a great option for people who don't want to do the super airbrushed look on your photos. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you guys how I put my watermark on my photos. So we're going to use a different app. It's called PixArt. And it's pretty easy. You just open up the app. You're going to tap on the plus at the bottom of the screen and select the photo that we just edited in Facetune. And so this is pretty easy. We're going to add a photo to the photo. So I'm just going into my camera and selecting the picture that I want. And it's just my watermark that I made. And so once you add that on there, you can adjust the size using the arrows in the corner. And then you're gonna select the blend option and then choose multiply. And that's how we're gonna get that nice overlay on the picture. Just adjust the size, adjust the position of where you want it to go. And once you decide that you found the right place for it, then you just save the picture. Just like that, pretty easy. I always watermark my photos now. I never used to do it because it was just one extra step. Like honestly, who has the time to do this stuff? But it really only takes 2 minutes. So please guys, always watermark your photos. It's really important. I can't tell you how many times I've seen my own photos on other people's Instagrams, on other people's Facebooks, on businesses' pages, using my photos to sell their products, to sell their tweezers, to sell their glue when I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I've even had people go so far as to try to crop out my watermark, so try to get it in there in a way that they're not going to be able to remove it. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you learned something. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments. If you want more videos like this, please let me know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram.